Ultimate Steve here. It is currently January something, 8th, and I haven't recorded any actual Kerbal stuff besides the Grand Tour in a good long while. Speaking of which, I left the Clouds mod installed, so now we have cool clouds, and there's a few other mods that weren't here before, but none of them are like super impactful. I installed a racing mod so I could race against my friends and do some stuff like that. But anyway, it's been a long time since I recorded this, so welcome back to episode 9, I think, of Kerbal Hardcore. I just got done editing episode 8, which was probably recorded a month or two ago, and break is almost over. I was going to be like, oh yeah, it's going to be so productive, I'm going to do one video a day on break, and then I got home from college, and I just slept for like 3 weeks straight, pretty much. I mean, I made some cool music, and I did the Grand Tour, which means I've finally mastered gravity assists, which I think is the last major skill set that I haven't had in Kerbal until now. So, just in time for Kerbal 2 to come out, I can say that I've mastered KSP1. I've beaten a big record. I can say that I'm good at the game now, I guess. Okay, this is Risk 14. And interestingly enough, I decided to go to Eeloo. I don't know what the logic was behind that, but let's go. Oh, that's kind of bouncy, so I'm gonna auto strut. Okay, my computer's been doing this weird thing where it exits the menu every so often. I go to the desktop every so often. It might be the auto hotkey program that I made a long time ago for Minecraft auto clicking that is somehow glitching out. Hold on, this is kind of loud in my ear, so I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Well, by a factor 3. Anyway, so we're going to Eeloo. Oh, that's really bouncy. This is a wiggly craft. So basically, to reduce risk, I reused some of the stuff on the Duna mission, Risk 13, and I whatchamacallit? So the lander is similar, but not the same. Actually, hold on. There's like nothing that's reused besides the engine. So yeah, the lander is pretty much a new design. But the upper stage is very similar. It just has a nuclear engine with 3 fuel tanks instead of LV909 with 2 fuel tanks, because we need the extra Delta V for Eeloo. We can make do with less. I mean, as I just proved, the entire Kerbal system is doable on 11.5 tons, and I'm actually sitting on an even lighter design that I don't want to fly because it's so user unfriendly, and I'll make a video about that design at some point. But oh, I ran out of fuel in these a long time ago. I think, unless I just jettisoned full fuel tanks. Anyway, so yeah. But the issue with that, like, I obviously wouldn't fly anything remotely similar to the 11.5 ton Grand Tour in this save, because as is the gimmick with the save, I only get one shot at everything, and I have to go everywhere. That's the number of quick saves I used. I think I made 100 different named quick saves, and I probably loaded more than that total, because it's just, some of those designs are very borderline, and it only gets worse in the even lighter design, which I think is a little bit below 9 tons now. And the reason I was able to do that is because the Eve lander and the Tylo lander and the Duna lander were actually very unoptimized. So you can make that a lot lighter. And now actually the heaviest part of it is the whatchamacallit, the Rapier is like approaching 25% of the mass of the entire thing. So there might be a lighter way to get it to orbit. But anyway, I'm talking too much about the Grand Tour, and I need to talk more about hardcore mode. So I'm going to time accelerate into orbit here. And it'll take a while to get to Eeloo, and I'll probably use the same music that I used in episode 8, because that music isn't... I didn't finish the song. I only used, like, the beginning of the song in there. Like, I anticipated using it a lot more, but there wasn't a long enough period of, like, let's go... Wait, hold on. Oh, episode 8. I forgot. I didn't... This is probably episode like 10 or 11, because I forgot that I didn't edit the return from Duna. I just edited going to Duna. So there's probably the Ike mission and then coming back to Kerbal, and there's probably episode 9. So this is probably episode 10. Time travel! Okay, so there's me in the corner looking all fancy and whatnot. And we're about to jettison the stage here. And let's go in 3, 2, 1. And I'm not entirely sure how far this stage will get us, because previously it was able to get us all the way into low Duna orbit. I don't think it'll get us nearly that far this time, because we're going to Eeloo, but it should be enough to do most of the first interplanetary burn, I think. And I did set up a stage for jettisoning the launch escape system, so we can do that now. Let's get a little bit to apoapsis. I'm going to deploy these solar panels. I also brought a magnetometer, which I am not on. I'm not quite sure if I've used the magnetometer before. Okay, well the magnetometer's inside the lander, which you'll see eventually. 70 kilometers, 50 seconds to apoapsis, and you might watch me start my burns really early, because I'm used to the Ion engines now. I might actually do an updated engine tier list now that I've kind of like played with the engines from like a min-max perspective. But a tier list from the min-max perspective would be heavily skewed towards the latest engines. Like there are some engines that are heavier than the complete record for Grand Tour, so I don't know if that would be a good video idea. Anyway, 30, 40, 50, 60, and we are in orbit. I'll come back with you eventually. I'm going to plot the maneuver. I didn't actually, interestingly enough, I didn't actually wait for a transfer window, so I'm just going to do things the hard way. Okay, so we are approaching Eeloo after 63.5 years of waiting. I'm not exactly a patient person sometimes, so I'm probably going really crazy right now, but that doesn't really matter. Anyway, so we're coming up on Eeloo, and the only thing to report is that we may get into a little bit of a fuel situation towards the end of this, but I still think that it's reasonably possible to get home and survive with the current amount of fuel we have left. Plus, it'll get a lot later as we when we jettison the lander. So this we've got. I expect that we'll enter orbit with about half a tank of fuel left. How long will the burn take? 37 days. I don't think that's accurate. So I'll eyeball it then. I'll start burning now because I know that this burn can take a long time. Usually the Eeloo insertion burn, speaking from experience, it comes up on you. Granted, we've corrected most of our relative velocity already with the plane change burn, which is more efficient to do at capture if you leave like during a transfer window, but I didn't. And who needs transfer windows? So circularization, yeah, I started the burn too late, but we'll be fine. Also, hold on. Have I unlocked resource trend? I have not, so I can't even use... Well, it's not that I haven't unlocked it, I just that I think that... what's the word? I think in hard mode, resource transfer obeys cross-feed rules is on, so I cannot transfer the fuel out of this lander. So if I have extra liquid fuel, I can't use it, but I do get to, like, jettison it when I... You know what I mean. That's our halfway fuel point. It's not our halfway delta V point, but still, it's a bit alarming how low on fuel we're getting. Granted, I do have that one robotic rescue mission that I can rely on if I need to, but I guess I get bonus points if I don't. But I'd hate to lose that this early on a body as trivial as Eeloo. Like, the only thing hard about Eeloo is that it's just so far away. Okay. So now we're Eeloo orbit. Let's get into high Eeloo orbit so we can do the Eeloo science. Anyway, we're approaching periapse. Let's lower our orbit even further. And 40 by 40 is alright. Granted, like, if we're going for maximum efficiency, we want it to be even lower. Actually, yeah, let's go over here to lower the apoapsis again, because we got ahead of ourselves. But we're not really going for maximum efficiency here. The goal is maximum safety. Which, granted, I could have done a lot more things for safety, and I will towards the end when it, like, actually matters that much. But I still haven't lost that much if I die here. But it would have been smart to at least include backup engines on the lander. Oh, I forgot to do EVA reports. I should do those too. But granted, at this point, science is not really our limiting factor. Our limiting factor is the money we get. Oh. Speaking of money, I forgot that I had contracts that expired many years ago. Okay, I'm still money positive. Oh, that was my Discord notification, by the way. Sorry if you go check Discord. I forgot that I had contract. Okay, anyway, so like basically no contracts for Eeloo showed up, but this mission was cheap enough. Like it was like 50,000 to unlock the nuclear engine, which I need to do anyway, and then another like 70,000 for the mission. But now I've just paid another like 100,000 in contract deadlines. So this is inexpensive. I'm probably gonna end this mission with less money than I started with. So I'm not entirely sure why I did this. This was not very smart of me. I should have thought this out better. Anyway, let's hop over into the lander. And okay, I'm just reflexively quick saving. It's not going to do anything, but I just keep quick saving by reflex here. Okay, so I packed this lander with more fuel than it needs. I think like 50% more fuel than it needs, because like the EU lander is like 700. Like I'm going. Actually, hold on. Is my Delta V map wrong? Let me check my Delta V map. Eeloo, 620 meters per second. From a, a 10-kilometer orbit. Granted, that might be orbital velocity, but Eeloo spins so fast that, like, there's no way that's actually how much Delta V it takes. Like, look, my surface velocity is like almost like just barely 500, so I have like 4 times as much, well, twice as much fuel as I need, because I need to go both ways. But like, I have loads of fuel. Let's get down into an orbit that grazes the surface here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then I'm gonna want to do everything else in this view, just in case I come across a mountain, which that would be a very not great way to end the series, just crashing into a mountain. Okay, gear out already, because you can never be too careful in this scenario. Let's land on the brown area. I don't do that often. And see if the ice cream tastes any different depending on which part of Eeloo we land on. When's our impact point going to be on the brown? There we are. That should be good. And ground altimeter. Here, I'm going to begin final descent. You know, there are... actually, no, I'll get into that discussion a bit later. I should probably not reminisce on things while landing in a very high stakes series. So, 500 meters, 400 meters, 40 meters per second. 200 meters, 20 meters per second. Let's just keep it at 10-ish. Okay, I can see my shadow now, so I can go visually. I'm gonna switch SAS to radial out. And we have landed on the furthest planet. Let's go. So that's not like a challenging one off my list. Well, granted, I still have to get back, but like the other like Eeloo and Drez, and then the one I may miss again are basically stopgap missions. And then there's the big ones, the Jewel 5, which the thing with the Jewel 5, what I'm going to end up doing, uh, I don't care if I do that in one go. So I don't particularly care if I like if it gets to that and like it's one of the landers is borderline, I'll just go home and then launch another mission to finish the Jewel, the Jewel 5, like all 5 of the moons, and yay, I'm on Eeloo, but. But so yeah, then there's Eve, that's the other big one, and Moho is the other one. Which I don't really plan on doing Moho until I unlock Ion Engines, but there's a chance that I will never unlock them because the R&D upgrade is so expensive. I need to get the science from the service. EVA Airport takes service sample, keep. And let's get back into our lander here. Wait, dump? Why? Oh right, I have the EVA Airport. And don't forget, we need to grab 2 surface samples. I almost forgot that. And then we should be good to go back. Why is there a trajectory marker? I don't know why. Hopefully that isn't a sign of a game-breaking bug or anything. Anyway, let's go. Let's get off of here. Let's not spend any more time here than we have to. And we have to go north. I'm going the wrong direction. Our nodes look alright. And then let's get ourselves a nice little rendezvous right there. Perfectly lined up with the ascending node. I didn't even plan that. And this should be just fairly straightforward from here. Speaking of straightforwardness, what I was going to say beforehand when I was really focused on the landing is that I've been watching a series recently by, I think, Giant Bomb called Project Beast. It's like 3 people in a room trying to figure out Kerbal Space Program, and it makes me wish I could forget how to do things so I could like have the joy of and pain of trying to figure out how to do all these things again. Because like watching them like fumble their way through trying to get to the moon and back and fumble their way through Rendezvous is very entertaining. Although like not like I wouldn't sit down and watch it because I'd with that sort of thing, like Let's Plays these days, like long form series, I will usually have like a playlist on my second monitor, and just set it on 2x speed in the background, and then just check in every so often, and yeah, seeing them, the progression from them knowing almost nothing, to then being able to successfully pull off like a solar orbit rendezvous is really, really great. And I wish, I'm less shy now than I used to be, but I was, hold on, docking. Bloop. There we are. But as a child, I was really shy, and I found Kerbal Space Program, and then I'm like, because I like didn't want to bother asking, like I wanted to buy the game, but like asking my parents for like, you know, hey, can you buy a game for me? Here's my $22 in allowance or whatever, $23 or whatever it was back then, and collect all, and then I'll grab the data from where's the service sample at? Store experiments, and then that should be the service sample should be perfectly fine in there. Anyways, I was really shy, and I didn't like asking my parents to like buy something for me. Like when I like, even just giving them the money, like asking them to take the time to sit down and do that, it was a little bit daunting for me as a kid. I don't know why, but it just was. And I'm a lot better at that now. But like, so the result was that I watched like pretty much every video on Kerbal Space Program I could before actually buying the game. So I kind of went in there kind of knowing what to do. Now, granted, getting to the MUN still took me a while, but I didn't really have nearly as many explosions all the way, and I kind of feel like I robbed myself of that experience there. I kind of wish I could forget everything and go through that. That was kind of what I intended to do with Kerbal Jank Program, but it ended up being that that many failure mods together doesn't really... They don't like each other, and eventually the game broke due to, like, bugs. So I never really got to, like, explore the full potential of that series, unfortunately. Speaking of other series, I have another episode of Solar Station that's going to go up at some point. I don't know if that'll be before or after this video is live. Plant Jam is continuing, it's just that I haven't found time to do that. Even Back will continue eventually, although I might drastically shorten like the amount of service exploration I do, because it's like been like 2 years at this point in real life, or something like that, or 1 year, 2 years, I don't know. So the original plan was to like scour Eve's service for like everything. I might just do like 3 trips with the plane or whatever, instead of like doing the whole big thing, just to get home sooner. But anyway, so because like I always do these big things, and when it comes time to actually do the hard parts, I'm like, yeah, I don't actually want to do that. Anyway, so I've talked too much. Let's plot our trajectory home. And what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to use... Actually, no, I'll talk to you when I have the trajectory. Okay, so the plan here is that we're going to, first of all, control from here and shut down this nuclear engine and burn all the fuel left in this lander, and probably the RCS fuel as well, which did I even use any of the RCS fuel? I didn't. Wow, I'm just so good at docking, I just completely forget that I have RCS available to me. So I'm going to burn all of the fuel in this stage, jettison the lander, and flip around, then use the nuclear stage the rest of the way, which will hopefully make best use of the fuel we have available to us. So let's see. I got this guy out of here, right? Okay, just making sure there's no experiments I'm leaving behind. Oh, we're out of fuel already. Okay, all right, that was quick. So let's where's the undock button? Am I just playing? Okay, there's the undock button. Okay, and I completely reset the maneuver, but I'll just stop like 100 meters per second from the end, and we should have fairly similar. All right, 2,800 meters per second. I can work with that. I could do gravity assist. I do has time for gravity assist. Well, I mean, yeah. I can re-enter really, really fast with this and still survive. The problem is landing accurately. Actually, no, I'll have like 1,300 left at the end. Like, I should be able to capture it, Kerbin. The problem is we have to land near enough to the Space Center to pick stuff up. So we need, like, landing fuel. We need, like, aerobraking. Shut up, Discord. So we need to be able to aerobrake. And that's more or less intersecting. And then I'll have to deal with the ascending and descending nodes at around there. Anyway, so goodbye, Eeloo. Wow, I have only 200 liquid fuel left. That's really scary. I have 1,170 meters per second left. That's significantly less than I thought I'd have. Scary, scary, scary. Okay, anti-normal. Let's correct our inclination, so you're gonna have a better time getting an encounter. And that's going to take like 200 meters per second or something like that. I overshot. Okay, not that much. It took like 100 meters per second. 0.1, 0.0. No inclination. And then we'll get to periapsis and burn retrograde long enough to get an encounter on the next pass around, assuming our periapsis is low enough, which it looks to be low enough. Wait, our periapsis is slightly above Kerbin, so we'll really have to reduce that a little bit. Yeah, I'll have to do that like another orbit from now on. In fact, I'm not even gonna bother setting up an encounter. I'm just gonna go for my retrograde up here. So Kerbin is at an altitude of 13,338, so I need to reduce that to 13, whatever, a little bit lower than that. 1,090 meters per second of delta V. This is scary. I don't like this. I should have added more fuel. I was like, I don't need drop tanks when I built this. I should have taken the drop tanks. Okay. So this is going to be our target position in T-minus 6 years. So if I burn retrograde enough, that will give us an encounter roughly there. And the more retrograde I burn, the closer this should get. I'm going to reduce the thrust limiter, so I have a little bit more precision is the word I'm thinking of. Actually, hold on. That's actually really close. I'll have to correct my inclination and stuff. But I want to get positive periapsis just to see how much it'll take me to capture. That's not good. Well, it'll be a bit better once we're a little bit closer to the planet. So I will time warp there and then make a plan. I'm very wise. Okay, we're approaching Kerbin. So now we can make our final corrections. I'm going to want to come in equatorial, so we're at least landing kind of near the Space Center. Radial in will take us closer. Maybe radial out. It's going to be radial. Okay, it is radial in. 94 kilometers. What's the lowest we can feasibly go? 74 is pretty low. So, how much is the burn now? Okay, it's going to be a little bit less than it was before. Okay, we can just barely not capture. Okay, so in sandbox mode, pilots shouldn't have the engineer building tool, and they don't. But, if only I had jettisoned some of this stuff. Okay. So how are we going to do this? We could... I don't know if gravity assist will help us here. Because our relative velocity should still be the same. Unless I'm completely misunderstanding how gravity assists work. Which I might be. Okay. Here's what I'll do. I can decelerate, so it's basically a moon entry. And I'm gonna try and target our landing site by mathematics, just so we can land the capsule close enough to take the VTOL craft there. Hopefully in the ocean east. Like, but this is gonna be hard because I have not like done targeted atmospheric descents like this before. Okay, this is gonna be just a little bit stress. Our periapsis is in T-minus 1 day and 1 hour. And the Space Center is going to be right below us in another day. So, we either need to accelerate by an hour, which doesn't seem like something I want to do. So we need to land by the Space Center. Because currently, we are going to land about an hour, or like 30 degrees? Because that's 180. No, 60. We're going to land about 60 degrees west of the Space Center. Is there a burn I can do up here to make it in T-minus 2 days? Like, can I make my periapsis, like, later? Like, can I burn retrograde up here? I'll be going a bajillion miles an hour when I get there, but it'll be in the right spot. Yeah, 2 days. I don't have the fuel for that. Shoot, so I'm going to be stuck. Unless I accelerate. So, like, by 1 hour. Because if I only had a little bit more fuel, I could just enter orbit, then aero brake down further. Okay, that will put me... But that's prograde, and that's going to increase my entry velocity by... You know what? Given the intenseness of this reentry... Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce my velocity by, like, a lot. Oh, this is really risky. Like, I'm like 1 meters per second short of being able to, like, do the retro burn well. So I'm going to actually put my periapsis in the atmosphere. Actually, it already is a little bit. I'm going to put it a little bit further, like at 60. And then I'm going to slow down right before the periapsis hits. And then I'm going to aero brake. And I should be able to, like, cut a little bit off of my velocity that way. Okay, 50 stuff's going to start exploding. And then I'll shoot off into space. 56 sounds good. Again, reflexively quick saving, as if it'll do anything. Here we go. I've been recording, right? Okay, good. I've been recording. That would have been bad. 56. Okay. So the plan, to reiterate, is I'm going to start burning retrograde. Hey, we have communications again. How long do I have burning in left? I have, like... Oh, right. I need to thrust limiter this thing. Burn 121. So I should start about 2 minutes before periapsis. Wait, no, I would have been fine. Oh, no, that's the desert airfield, and that's the Kerbal Center. Okay, so... I could launch the plane from the desert airfield, so I have one less. Anyway, so... If we didn't have to do an accurate landing, this would be easier. Okay. Wow, we are going fast. The lights are so beautiful. Alright, me. Good luck. Okay, so we're starting the engine. And we're going to kind of nose up a little bit so our periapsis doesn't drop too far. Because we just want to aero brake enough to get into a captured orbit. And then we can do some safe aero braking from there. Because if we hit the atmosphere right now with full force, we're going to burn up. We could eject the capsule, but then our landing site would be random. Because, like, the thing is, landing this from here would be trivial. I just burn all the fuel retrograde. But, like, the thing is, I need to land accurately, because stupid me at the beginning of the series said, I want all the samples on the VIB roof. I could have just said go everywhere, but now I'm being held to this. Okay. I'm going to keep about 100 meters per second in the tanks. Maybe 200, maybe 300. Before... Okay. 3,400. Yeah, I'm going to keep burning until I have 100. Because that's a ways to go. Okay, maybe 200. Because, like, 3 kilometers per second is stupid fast. Oh, we're in the atmosphere now. Okay, I'm going to cut the engine. And hope aerobraking does its job and gets us into an orbit here. Because if it doesn't, I've actually just shot myself into space. And there's no way home from here. Okay, I think the thermal... Oh, okay. There goes the heat. That's fine. The mystery goo can blow up. I don't care about that. Okay. We're not slowing down enough. We're not going to enter orbit. Okay, hold on. We're really low. Oh, okay. There's orbit, but like... not like... Like we're not on a hyperbolic trajectory. We are on an escape trajectory, but not a hyperbolic trajectory. There is a difference. Because, like... As you can see, our apoapis is positive. Our apoapis would just be outside of Kerbal Hardcore. So this was if this was a two-body system... Yes, there we are! We did it! We did it! Okay, we're in an orbit. And we can now safely, Woo! Okay. Alright. So, the series is not going to be over right here. It might end, like, on touchdown. We might hit a mountain or something. So now, let's do exactly what we did before. Focus on Kerbin. And look at the Space Center. We want that periaptus value to be... in a whole number multiple of days. So if we just decrease our periaptus a little bit here, well, let's do it oh, shoot, the moon. Oh, and never mind, that's afterwards. I don't care about afterwards, because this is the only path it'll take. How about 14 days exactly on the dot? That's 24 kilometers. The thing is, we are still going to be north of that, and... we might... I'll lower it down, but no, we'll see where we are over there, because we still have 152 meters per second we can spend. It's going to be the dark side. I don't like that, but granted, it's just a parachute landing, so... 3 hours? Here we go. I did not put any ablator in this heat shield. Granted, if I did put a ablator in the heat shield, we probably wouldn't have enough fuel to make it back because we'd be that much heavier. But I should have. Well, granted, this is now it's just a mid-miss thing. Like we came over from doing it in this ship. We don't need a ablator, but mentally it would be nice to have. Okay, so how am I gonna correct this closer? Our inclination could be better. So. How much fuel would it take, like, 1 minute from now? Put our inclination down there. 50 meters per second. And then let's pull our periaptus even further. So that we'll land real close to the Space Center. Yeah, that should be a good maneuver. And I should land... The nightmare scenario here... Wait a second. Okay, Kerber's going to rotate a little bit, but just 13 minutes of rotation. The nightmare scenario here is landing in the mountains. Because I watched that happen in Project Beast. And I think I agree with what they said right after that. That's not really their fault. Like even I do not really pay close attention to, like, if I'm going to land in mountains or not. And I've had that come back to bite me a couple times, but I really don't want to now. Okay, so anyway, is that periapsis too low? Is that going to send us into the mountains? Because I know it can survive re-entry in this vehicle. Which, yeah, that's going to put us in the mountains. Radial out. Let's increase our periapsis. Because the Kerbin is going to rotate. The Kerbin. I love the Kerbin. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, let's get a bit closer. Our altitude's 106, so we don't have much time. I'm going to pause the game. Hold on. Are we going to... Okay, I'm raising periaptis to 24. And that should be enough to clear the mountains. But, well, is it going to be? I haven't liked this. It's time to find out. Here we go. Into the atmosphere we go. From home from the furthest planet. Is that heat shield gonna be... Okay, the heat shield's gonna be fine. Oh no, we're gonna hit the mountains. Okay, hold on. Lifting re-entry. That might not be working because we have the sample container. Yep, okay. Lifting re-entry, come on, we can do this. The issue is that is increasing our drag there, so we might not actually be getting much... But I'm trying to... Actually, hold on, that's going to overheat the capsule if I keep doing that. No, this was a mistake. We're definitely... We might not even make it to land. Okay, but we have a seaplane that works. So, I guess water landing is probably better in this case. Man, I've really, really misjudged that. So now we're going to have to fly this far to pick up the samples. Oh, man. Okay. Alright. And right, there's still that bug where we can't have the Kerbal recover with the science. We need to fly the plane over there even to get all of that science. Okay, that's going to be a feat. But we'll get there. And... but that will be, the sample pickup will be in the next episode, so, what do we do? We got to Eeloo, we got to back, we have to fly very far. I can still improve on my ability to, like, target capsule re-entries, but to be fair, that was a really difficult, like, scenario to do that with coming in that fast. Like, from a low Earth orbit with, like, a good delta V margin to, like, deorbit, like, I can usually target them fairly accurately, but this is a difficult one to target. So, thank you so much for watching. In the next episode, we'll probably go and pick up this with a plane, and maybe if we have time, start on a Dres mission, or maybe just go to Mimus, do some contracts and stuff. But yeah, anyway, how's our money doing? World first. We ended with more money than we started with, despite losing those contracts. Thank you so much for watching. Ultimate Steve, out. Actually, wait, no, don't recover the vessel. Oh, I almost just, like, deleted our samples. Okay, we can recover me so I can pilot the plane, and then we can grab the science back. Okay, fantastic. We're good.